I tend to agree with Samson, maybe a bit even earlier than half a
Wow.
million,
Yeah.
because, but buying the on-chain Bitcoin, like how most people are doing now, that's going to disappear. In my opinion, like literally any day now. I don't know why it's taken so long, considering all these big players are now, killing each other to see
Hmm.
who accumulates more. Um, I thought it would have happened already, but literally in 2025, I have a very strong feeling that this is about to happen. And when it does, you're never going to see it again, right? So when the masses understand Bitcoin and they start seeing that number go up, which it will when the supply is gone and the value starts pumping up on the charts, a lot of people are going to get excited and
Yep.
horny about this and are going to start asking questions. How do I get some, right? So the masses are going to get Bitcoin, benefit from it by earning it. You're no longer going to be able to go out and buy it anywhere unless you're sitting on like tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, which most
Hmm.
people don't have. So how else are you going to get it? All right, now I need to earn this stuff. I don't want your shitty dollars or your shitty euros. Pay me in sats now. That's the only money I will accept for working. It'll start off slowly, but I think it's going to accelerate. Once people start doing it, and then their friends realize that they're doing it, and then their purchasing power is going up. It's like, oh
Hmm.
shit, for real? Yeah, yeah, for real. Then I want to do it too, right? And that's how like normies, blah, 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 that's how it works. And so by then the dollar becomes irrelevant. Well, not just the dollar, but like
Hmm.
fiat currency
Yep.
is irrelevant. Like who's going to want it,
Yep.
right? First of all, it's worthless. Second of all, it's not yours. Somebody else decides what you do with it. Like you'd have to be mentally ill to want to willingly use that garbage, right? When you have an option not to do it. And we joke about this at the Bitcoin way. We're like, you know what, guys? In about 50 to 100 years, if anybody studies our time, they're going to think we were like the biggest morons to
I
ever
agree.
live. To actually think, that worthless paper had value and we were like slaving for it and we
Hmm.
were paying taxes on it and we were asking permission to use it and we were putting it in the bank where they decide how we spend it. Like, can you just put yourself in the shoes of someone like 100 years
Modern
from
dark
now,
age.
what they can
Yeah,
possibly be thinking about us?
absolutely. It's modern dark age.
So
Yeah.
it's a funny internal joke that we have here, but I'm convinced it will happen. Of course, we won't be around to to laugh at it, but
So when that happens, which really, again, like Samson is like, hey, it's going to a million this year, and everyone's got their price predictions, right? But it's the whole point. I think what's important again is this collapse of fiat, right? And it's really psychological. I mean, money is a psychological engine, and Bitcoin is a psychological engine. So a couple percent, like you talked about again, the 3% of the patriots and the revolutionary, a couple of percent of people will wake up tomorrow and say, "Hey, I'm not accepting this trash anymore." It's pretty much it's game over. It's lights out at that point. It's right. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's just a psychological. When the education becomes enough, or the hurt, or the pain, or whatever it is, becomes enough, and enough people like flip that iceberg, and the iceberg just flips very quickly once it gets too top heavy. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, look, it's not going to take a lot for Bitcoin to really go nuts. Like I said, I don't think we need 100%. We don't even need anywhere
Mm-hmm.
near 100% adoption for Bitcoin to win. It's
Right.
already winning. Like we're about what, 3% global adoption now? I
Max.
promise
Yeah.
you that at some point, all assets in the world are going to funnel themselves into Bitcoin because it's the only thing that's worthwhile at that point, right? So these crazy returns that people think they've missed because they didn't get into Bitcoin in 2008 or 9, they're going to be blown away. Bitcoin's future is exponentially larger than all the impressive gains it has done in the last 16 years. It's just math. Look at it. Back then, nobody was paying attention. Now there's 8 billion people looking at it, at some point. So of course the future is a lot bigger. But at some point, long after we're gone, Bitcoin's not going to have all of these crazy returns anymore because it's going to be the norm,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's going to be like the world reserve currency. It's going to be boring. It's like nobody's going to talk about Bitcoin. It's like, who cares? It's like talking about your cable connection that's so fast. Like, who cares, right? But a few years ago, when you had a dial-up modem, when somebody introduced like a fiber connection at home, holy shit, it was the talk of the town, right? Same thing. Now Bitcoin is the new kid on the block. Exponential returns. Once we hit enough adoption, it goes back to being like a nothing burger, like part of normal life. That's what I think is going to happen. And that's when, like, maybe the real estate, opening a hotel instead of investing the money in Bitcoin,
Yeah.
that's when these things become interesting again. Like, if I had $10 million now, would I open a hotel or would I invest it in Bitcoin?
Agreed.
Like, why would I break my head with the hotel and the regulation and the taxes and the employees and, you know, all the headaches that comes with that, where I can take that money, drop it into Bitcoin in self-custody and just literally do nothing.
Yep.
Right? It sounds like crazy and too good to be true, but that's exactly what it is. It's an appreciating asset with a finite supply. Its purchasing power has to go up mathematically. So, but the golden days of being able to do this, those are not going to last forever. They're going to, you know, zoom by us much quicker than a lot of people even realize. So those still lingering on zero, thinking, oh, you know, maybe I don't have time for this and blah, blah. I have bad news for you, because no one's going to wait around. The world is not going to wait around until you decide that this has value. And one piece of advice I tell everyone, like, forget about what your neighbor and friends are doing. You do you, because no one cares about you more than you will. So do the work and lead by example, like live the life that you want. Staying in the fiat world is not going to give you that life. That, I can tell you from experience, is a fact. Unless somehow you're still miraculously making so much money that you're still beating the rate of inflation, which 90% of the world is not, sooner or later, even you will not be able to keep up. So there were a lot of billionaires in Lebanon who thought, come on, man, we're like the kings here. They woke up that same morning, instead of seeing, you know, like 10 zeros on their bank account, they saw just one.
Oh.
Right? And these are like people who thought untouchable.
You know,
everybody's touchable.
Yeah, it's. I love that you said this, because there's no better investment than, you know, people. Again, this is something you hear about too. People saying, "Well, you're not doing anything for society. You're just like sitting there and hodling." And it's like, no, there's literally no better investment you can make in the world than putting your money in Bitcoin, this peaceful revolution, and defunding the corrupt fiat debt-based legacy monetary system. There's literally no better thing you could do for humanity than doing that right now for all of humanity.
If you like that clip, then you definitely got to check out this next spicy clip. I think you're really going to like it. Come on, check it out. But if you want the full version, the full interview, then check that out over here. Come on, do it. I'll see you in there.